How's it going, my lovely death disciples? I am the Shattered Reaper, and today we are going to be playing some more The Life and Suffering of Volker Brante. Where last we left off, we had an epic battle against the forces of evil of the secret chancery, where they came wondering why things weren't going on, and it led to a big 1v everyone fight. Actually, well, yeah, I mean, that part is true, but it was not epic. I actually had my neck snapped. So that was not great. That was not fun. So I have suffered my second death so far. But we have had our family united, and everybody is happy. And even my brothers actually got arrested and put in jail. So there was that. And we unfortunately had to deal with grandfather one more time, even though he's dead. And he basically just told Dad to be like, get rid of your daughter. And yeah, there was that. And yeah, so now we are in the year 1141, the guns of Illyria. So let's see where we are now. Margaret has received alarming news from the neighboring province of Illyria. The lowborn convicts toiling in the Illyrian mines have revolted against their noble masters for the first time in many long, peaceful years. Commoners have taken up arms. Worse yet, the insurgents had guns and gunpowder, and no one knows how they got them. Gunpowder weapons were banned throughout the Empire as soon as they were invented. The lords deemed firearms dishonorable and unfit for nobles. Even Legion soldiers are forbidden from using them. But now gunshots were echoing throughout the mutinous Illyrian mines. The Imperial Legion was deployed to quell the riot. The legionnaires slaughtered the rebels without mercy, and the uprising choked to death on its own blood before it had even begun. The south of Illyria is now a forest of gallows. The convicts' corpses were left swaying in the wind as a warning to any commoner who might dare to take up arms. Although the rebellion quickly succumbed to the Imperial military's onslaught, many Legion soldiers and officers were slain by the insurgents' firearms. Their steel armor was no match for bullets. The rioters' weapons were destroyed in a public ceremony, but no one knows who built or smuggled them into the mines. All Imperial overseers soon issued public reminders in the provinces. The punishment for owning a gunpowder weapon is true death by execution. But the Empire is still restless, still anxious. Somehow guns found their way into commoners' hands, if only for a short time. Could gunpowder and lead one day endanger the old ways of the Empire? Authorities in Magra fear that unrest may soon spill over here. Due to the double tax, peasant farms and industrial manufactories are facing harsher times. The province's wealth is steadily declining. But the discontent of the commoners is still held back by the eternal law that demands they accept their suffering. Well, the Magra is security, but did decrease. Okay. Chapter peacetime ends soon. Examine possible chapter endings to check which way you are headed. To achieve the goal that you've chosen, you have to meet all of its conditions at the end of the chapter. Glory to the Empire, unrest greater than 3, spy network, greater than 8, Philippe El Ferro saw your loyalty, Philippe El Ferro 2, Sophia grown close, the Free City, Mayor Egmont, we have a secret plot, we have a spy network that's less than 6, Master of Anizote made a deal with Remy El Vermon, but spy network is not greater than 8, Mayor Egmont in danger, the last straw's riot, unrest equal to 9 or 10, Sophia grows close, Felipe El Ferro has not seen our loyalty, farewell advisor, Felipe's plans come to fruition, you finally earn your freedom, free man. The El Brante family now has enough influence to protect you against Sir Philippe's wrath, favored by the overseer, or true death, except true death or deaths equal 4. Okay then. So, by the way, apparently, the volume is still very loud, and it has, overtaken my voice a couple of times in some of the previous videos I've noticed, so, I'm lowering the volume once again. Blast Wave. It has been 4 years since Archduke Milanitas and Overseer Tempest first clashed. Each claims the right to collect taxes in the province. Now, for the third year in a row, they are each collecting their own tax, and the province is sinking deeper into poverty. The people who have been hit the hardest are miners, diggers, and anyone who owns or manages a mine. When gunpowder first appeared in Magra, mine workers felt hope for a better future for the first time in years, but the ban soon followed and those hopes died. People have lost their jobs, industrialists and manufacturers have lost their fortunes, the silver industry is in decline. The Lesser Quorum, led by Mayor Egmont, has been fighting to stop double taxation and reverse the ban on gunpowder for a long time now, but to no avail. The common people blame Magistrate El Verman. He has supported the gunpowder ban from the very beginning, branding it too dangerous to be handled by commoners. This friction is throwing sparks everywhere. You have always known that unrest would flare up one day, but oddly enough, it all begins with the celebration. It is early in the morning. You are eating breakfast with your family. Stefan is excited. Your brother has been invited to a ball at the Chancellery. He has been getting great ever since he woke up. I suppose we'll just have to, not mention what happened last night then. Magistrate El Vermin is a sly man, Stefan. I'd be wary of him if I were you. Some friends in high places can take more than they give. Enough, father. I already know that. But if we ever want to be ennobled by the sword, we have to take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself. There will be the nobles of the highest rank there from all over the province. Besides, there's no risk of making Earl Vermin's acquaintance. Their conversation continues. Bored, you excuse yourself and go to the print shop. An ordinary day of work is followed by an ordinary evening. You are about to close up, stop for the night, when Alida arrives unexpectedly. She brings a letter. It's an urgent report from Sophia. You glance through it hurriedly. The handwriting is not Sophia's. Felipe has taken a great risk by writing to you under a false name, which means that this news is too urgent for caution. Our informers with Egmont's goons have warned us about a march tomorrow morning. There's trouble brewing. Miners, diggers, and even mine owners are involved. They're coming from all over the province to demand that El Vernon lift the gunpowder ban. This march has Egmont's name all over it. It's supposed to be peaceful, no bloodshed. Apparently, the miners think El Vermin won't have the guts to use force, so he'll have to listen to their demands. Their plan is to show up during the magistrate's party. They're mad because he's throwing money around while they're all starving. There are several hundred workers coming and they're fired up. They should get there early tomorrow morning. You have the night to get ready. Let's hope you know how to put this intel to good use. You burn the letter in the flame of a candle as the paper turns to ash. You weigh your options. Egmont wants the protest to be peaceful, but will he be able to keep the angry miners from crossing the line? And Stefan will be at that damn party of his. This complicates matters. Either way, Philippe is right. You cannot ignore this. What will you do during this unexpected protest? Inside a full-fledged riot, using the last straw, you reveal the full extent of the Maya's Fury's determination. Recruit the protesters to the last straw. Do not have enough manipulation, but I'm getting closer. Profit from havoc, definitely not enough from scheming. Or alert El Vermont. The magistrate has to be informed about the approaching threat before Stefan and the other nobles are trapped. Stefan is at that party, and even though I don't like him, he is still family, but... Then again, choice, really. Using the last straw, you reveal the full extent of the miner's furious determination. The magistrate has to be informed about the approaching threat before Stefan and the other nobles are trapped. Well, it's not like anybody will know it was me. Or will they? The nobles have never seen the common people as a force to be reckoned with. A peaceful protest will be a waste of time and effort. No matter how many miners crowd the city streets, they will not be heard until blood is spilled. This matter cannot be left to chance. You send for Moss and Father Fouad, and brief them on the situation. You are going to need a number of the last straw members for this. People who do not mind getting their hands dirty. They need to be ready by morning. You will join the miners' march, and you will be armed. The miners may be planning a peaceful protest, but you will make sure things turn violent. I'm gonna need some guys who know what's what. That means they won't be able to trail a few dozen bigwigs for a while. It's either or Brante. I only got so many men. So be it, as long as they are all ready in time. Come morning, the miners march into the city, tools in hand. They are dressed in rags, covered in soot and coal dust, hitting buckets with shovels and pickaxes with every step. The rhythm is as loud as it is chaotic. The miners are led by mine owners and industrialists, who are in turn led by Mayor Egmont himself. His voice can be heard about the incessant din of metal on metal. Give us back our gunpowder! Give us back our lives! If you want coal and silver, give us back our gunpowder! The entire procession repeats after him, hundreds of voices chanting in unison. The people of Anazote echo their refrain from the windows. Occasionally a gendarme finds himself in their path and scurries away. The procession is advancing toward the Chancellery building. Oliver's men join them at the north gate. They are murderers, thieves, debtors, men who will do anything for money. They look just like ordinary citizens in the crowd. As the procession enters the temple district, the white robes of the new faith priests join the gray mass of miners. Father Fouad has worked a small miracle indeed. The priest's voices join the commoners' chant. The thunderous din grows louder still. The twins are on our side. Our cause is pleasing to them. A leader joins the procession as it nears the noble districts, the last straw's youngest members in tow. The miners grow bolder as they see more people supporting their cause. You hide in a back alley just around the corner from the Chancellery, making sure your face is hidden. When the procession reaches you, you join its front ranks. Join its front ranks and let it carry you along. Your men and women are ready to spring into action as soon as you raise a red handkerchief above the throng. The march approaches the Chancellery building. The ball is cut short. Unable to flee the celebration in time, most of the nobles are trapped, surrounded by the chanting miners. Stefan is somewhere among them. Caught by surprise, the magistrate barely manages to alert the city gendarmes. Their numbers are too small to disperse a mob this size, but the Anazote Legion garrison will appear any moment now. This is no time to be careless. Sensing its strength, the mob continues to chant and bang their buckets without any fear of the gendarmes. Amid the metallic cacophony, Egmont's words repeat again and again. Bring us back our gunpowder! Bring us back our lives! You want coal and silver? Bring back our gunpowder! Egmont clambers up on a makeshift podium. Workers of Bagra, our so-called protectors are having a feast today. Let them see you with their own eyes. Let them hear you with their own ears. You are the people who harvest the lifeblood of our province day and night in the darkness of the mines. You are the people hidden from the light of day. You are the people who earn riches for our masters. The chant is deafening. Pickaxes and shovels clang against metal. This is the moment of truth. Either Vernon concedes, or there will be blood. To the magistrate's credit, he has the composure to face the people himself. The crowd goes quiet for him to speak. I understand your plight, but I will never accept such lawlessness in my city. Leave Anizote immediately before the gendarmes and legions force you out. Well, that's a shame for you, sir. The crowd murmurs in discontent. The people are on the verge of a riot. The magistrate feels it too. He raises his hand trying to say something else, but he is too late. You toss a red handkerchief into the air with one hand and hurl a cobblestone with the other. The heavy rock hits Vermin square in the chest. Spread throughout the mob, Moss and his men scream in unison, "Get him!" The gendarmes soon find more rocks flying in their direction. They try their best to fight back, but your rabble-rousers rush them, followed by the enraged horde. Stop! Enough! Don't do this! But there is no stopping it now. A confrontation is inevitable. Your work here is done. You try to escape the crowd. All in the pleasure of the agent of chaos. But a force of nature now, the mob will not release you. You are only a drop in a sea of humanity, and it washes you away. Soon the nobles join the gendarmes in a bid to quell the riot. The aristocracy's best draw their swords and fight an uneven battle, few against many. People push and shove frantically. You are deafened by screams, your nostrils filled with the stench of blood and sweat. Those pickaxes and shovels quickly become deadly weapons. The mob buffets you from side to side as it moves. You barely manage to remain on your feet even as you stumble over the bodies of those less fortunate. Then, finally, you are almost through the last stream of bodies when you hear an all too familiar voice from behind your back. Not so fast, rebel! Oh shit. Cold steel pierces your back. The tip of a sword sprouts from your stomach. A foot kicks you in the back. You are thrown off the blade and onto your feet, but a moment later you collapse onto the cobblestones. You smash headfirst into hard stone. Your nose shatters with a sickening crunch. The pain is blinding. Salty blood fills your mouth, and then darkness. Oops. I wasn't expecting to die this quickly again, but, I probably should have expected that. You are surrounded by an immense gray void. There is nothing but shadows around you. The specters of your decisions, the spawn of your personal will. You see before you all your victories and defeats, all your arrows and hopes. Another shadow comes to life by your side. As you gaze at these elusive moving silhouettes, you recognize your last action. This is the death you chose to face, knowing what fate was to befall you. This is the decision you made. The shadows keep spinning and dancing around you, the footprints of every step you have taken since the day you were born. A colossal figure looms over them, your future true death. You can no longer deny its imminence. It has always been there waiting for you. Now, you are only one step away from it, but you will take this step yourself. The familiar gigantic figures of the twin gods appear from the void to meet you. They effortlessly lift your tiny soul and hold it in their hands. You have always been in the twin gods' hands. Their will created you. The elder did not grant you his love, he forced it into you. The younger shaped you according to his law without giving you a choice. An enormous whirlwind arises in the void. The twin gods release you into it, and the torrent of an unfathomable will whisks you away. You are merely a minuscule particle of this universal tide. This will is the sole determiner of all events, past, present, and future. Your puny actions and choices are nothing in the face of the force this torrent harbors. You whirl in the cosmic vortex of the twin gods' will until it casts you out. You careen back down to your earthly life. It is only now that you regain your ability to act. You see all the wills of the universe, intertwined in a perpetual struggle against one another. Which will you follow? History mystery has a will of its own. You fall into an endless web formed by the wills of the mortal world. Now that you are free of the cosmic vortex, you can finally exert your own will and make a choice. It feels like a first gasp of air after being suffocated by an alien will. The will of the gods. But for your chosen will to be incarnated here in this world, one decision is not enough. You will have to follow this path to its conclusion, to turn this will into reality, by way of your decisions, deeds, and actions. Your eyes snap open, and you sit up abruptly. The crypt is spinning around you. The stagnant stench chokes you. You got out. You succeed in preserving yourself against the whirlwind that was tearing you asunder. The will of the twin gods has commanded you to continue your existence. You feel the urge to fall flat on your back and cackle madly. You are back. But only barely. You awaken. Your first breath is filled with pain. The crypt is silent. No one is there to meet you. With any luck, your family will never know that you died. Maybe this is for the best. The riot was an excellent dress rehearsal for the large-scale revolt Philippe will eventually order you to lead. You put your men to the test and they acquitted themselves nicely. When the time comes, you will be ready. But do you really have the time to come? -1 order, discontent. Unrest +1, spy network is failing. Died thrice, but I gain more manipulation and more scheming. I'm definitely really good at manipulating. Or, well, that's what I'm best at. At midnight, this event is a consequence of your previous actions. Uh-oh. It is early in the morning. You are at home. You hear a sudden knock at the door, followed by Mother's voice from the foyer. Volker, you have a visitor. Oliver Moss appears in the doorway, flashing his predatory smile. What is he doing here?
Morning, Volker. I've got a letter from you about it's about the print show.
Well, if it's about business, I'll leave you to it. Oliver follows your mother with a curious look, then leans in on the doorframe and casts a searching glance over the house. You snatch the message from his hands. You tell Oliver emphatically that he should not be here. Moss responds to your reproach with a meaningful nod at the letter. You hastily open the envelope. It is Philippe's handwriting. The letters are uneven. He was clearly in a rage when he wrote this.
Enough! I'm done wasting time on you. Your family's safety isn't a gift from the twins, Brante. It's payment for a job well done, and you haven't done your job. You're nobody. Nothing but dirt beneath my feet, and it's high time I shook you off. Your spies get no results. I've been accused of dereliction of duty. My enemies mock me, and it's all because of you. You have one day to fix this, and you will fix it. You will present your solution to me by the roots of the silver tree at midnight tonight. Your time is up.
Cold sweat runs down your back. Oliver takes the letter with a nonchalant gesture. He shrugs in mock sympathy and leaves your house. I really am not doing well with this. Fleeing the city is not an option. Your only hope is that Philippe will give you one last chance. You head toward the silver tree as midnight approaches. Everything is quiet. Giant roots, the lights of lanterns and torches. 5 men led by Moss meet you and stare at you intently. Philippe emerges from the darkness behind them. I don't imagine this going well.
I'm glad you had enough sense not to hide from me like a rat. Well,
you kneel before Philippe. Your knees are shaking with fear. You swear that your life belongs to the advisor. You assure him that the recent failures are caused by the cunning of the insurgents. You have come to await his justice even though your life is at risk. If Sir Alfaro can find it in his heart to pardon you, you will do everything you can for him. You have nothing more to say. The advisor looks down at you contemplatively. He slowly walks behind you. He runs the handle of his cane along your spine. Powerful blow. You fall to the ground. A sharp pain pierces your back. Tears gush from your eyes. but you manage to bring yourself back up to a kneeling position and continue begging for mercy. The advisor takes a slow, deep breath.
Well, Brante, you're a fool, but at least you're a loyal fool. Oh, you may live. As a commoner, you must accept your punishment, but your own pain clearly isn't enough motivation for you. Perhaps your family's pain will help you do better.
You lift your eyes to the advisor's face. You see only disdain in his eyes.
You didn't think I was going to let you off easy, did you? If you say anything to your family, it'll just make things worse. You're the only one who can set things right, Brante.
You return home but cannot fall asleep for a long time. You are still trembling. You have managed to save your own life, but what price will your family pay now? Punishment comes the very next day. Nathan is the first to be targeted. You find him at your doorstep badly beaten. His clothes are soaked with blood. His nose is broken and some of his teeth are missing. The bruises on his face render him barely recognizable. Who did this to you, Nathan? I don't know, Mother. It just appeared out of the darkness. The second target is your home. Someone sets fire to the west wing in the middle of the night. You manage to put it out, but the building is severely damaged. The repairs will be extremely expensive. An air of wistful desperation permeates your home. The last blow strikes your father. His work at the prefecture suddenly grinds to a halt. The intervention of some unknown authority causes all his cases to be taken from him. He still goes to the office every day, returning more and more dejected each time. There are rumors among his colleagues that he is about to be expelled from the prefecture. Your family's troubles are all your fault. But could you have acted differently? Oh, fuck. The procession to the tree. A holy day is coming. A day when the entire Empire thanks the twins for the silver tree, the sign they left behind as a reminder of their eternal presence in this world. This momentous occasion is especially important for Anizote, but the clergy cannot agree on how best to celebrate it. Father Leonard has called for all worshippers of the twins to approach the Temple of the Silver Tree and kneel before the sacred relic, but the old clergy balks at the idea of Leonard and the new believers leading the ritual. The day has come. An immense crowd is moving in a procession towards the temple near the Silver Tree, where Father Leonard awaits. But an inquisitor by the name of Jean stands in their way. She strikes a defiant pose. Confronted by a member of the Holy Order of the Inquisition, the procession reluctantly stops. People, turn back. Those who attend Leonard's rite will succumb to the new faith. Those who reject the lots will defy their divine design. You're about to bring the wrath of the gods down upon us all. Open your eyes. Go back to your home, and pray to the twins. The procession wants to move, but the people are confused, until Father Leonard himself walks out of the temple to meet Jean face to face. People of Anizote, no one has the right to deny you the sacred ritual of worshipping at the tree. Not even the Inquisition. Such a denial not more likely to provoke the wrath of the twins. The Inquisition must know that the new faith does not seek to challenge or defy the twins. We are merely trying to correct the mistakes of those who came before us. We do not anger the twins. We merely vex those who refuse to accept the dawn of a new age. Jean finds herself between a rock and a hard place. Seeing that she has no other choice, she lets the procession pass. The new faith's numbers have swelled of late. It cannot be stopped now. Today is an important holiday. The entire Empire is celebrating the Festival of the Silver Tree, which commemorates the parting gift of the twin gods, the divine sapling they planted in our mortal world in the middle of Anizote. The families of the city spend the day in peace and quiet, contemplating the divine roots that join together all people, their bloodlines, and the entire Empire. Mother always oversees this holiday. The day before the festival, she seemed to have shaken off her usual apathy and engaged in the preparations with excitement. It was as though her illness has loosened its grip. Mother gathers the entire family for the holiday meal. Father is in high spirits today, sharing jokes with you and Nathan. Stefan is trying to suppress an atypical agitation. Gloria is the last to join you at the table. She is wearing new breeches with high stockings and a yellow vest. Gloria, you're wearing men's clothes again. No, Mother, I'm wearing clothes women are forbidden to wear. Father gives Gloria a stern look. Stefan rolls his eyes but says nothing. Suddenly Nathan speaks up. A few days ago in the market, I saw a grocer dressed as Overseer Gaius Tempest. He had a huge carrot for a scepter. He got a sound drubbing, of course, but until then it was quite a hoot. Everybody laughs at the ridiculous story, relieved. Even Gloria has a smile on her face when she sits down. The feast commences. Your home finally feels warm for a moment. It wasn't so long ago the four of you couldn't even reach up to this table. The first word you said, Gloria, was, "Gimme." Nathan used to cling to my shirt all the time, almost tearing at it. And you, Volker, you couldn't talk at all yet, but your piercing stare was so expressive. It felt as if you were talking to me. Mother looks at Stefan and suddenly grows quiet. When I met Stefan, he was already 3 years old. He was so serious and a smooth talker to boot. I remember that he had a music teacher, but he was too shy to play in front of me, so I used to listen to him from the next room. Stefan's face twitches. Your elder brother rises and moves to the old harpsichord. His fingers fly gracefully over the keys. The melody fills the house, melancholy and sweet. The last note lingers in the air. Then silence falls. The family is awestruck. Words fail you all. Well, I'm sorry that I was actually intending to kill you with that riot. Who wrote that? A nobleman from the capital, between drinking a glass of wine and beating a servant. Your sister's cutting remarks puts an end to the warm, cozy atmosphere. Stefan calmly turns to face her. No, it was I who composed this piece of music. It is called Mother. Mother rises to her feet. She would have needed help to do this just recently, but now she treads unassisted towards Stefan and draws him close. Stefan puts his arm around his stepmother's waist, then detaches himself awkwardly. May the twin gods bless you, Lydia. Okay, now I really feel bad now that I was trying to have that riot kill him. Gloria considers this scene with thinly veiled fury in her eyes. Of course, high-born nobles like Stefan are made for the arts. They're the only ones lucky enough to even have a soul and experience inspiration. Unlike us, the lowborn, we aren't supposed to feel anything but suffering, let alone express it in poetry. Everyone notices that Gloria's clutching pages filled with writing her poems. Your sister casts a mournful glaze at your family, and her eyes rest on you. You walk up to Mother, take her hand in yours, and whisper in her ear, "It's time for her to interfere and save the family celebration." Mother nods understandingly. Gloria, my dear child, since you were little, I taught you to care for your soul. But if I failed to convince you, please think about the family that took us in. I implore you, do not take on noble activities. Do not infringe upon the divine order. Gloria's face flushes red with fury. She clasps the pages to her chest. That's right, Mother. Since I was little. Do you think I'm not reminded of it with every breath I take? Of all the things I'm forbidden to do because I'm lowborn? My dear girl, listen to me. There is more to life than you and your aspirations. You are a member of the Brante family, and our family is part of a greater universe. Your actions affect all of us. We are not isolated. We are being watched by the city, by the Empire, by the twin gods themselves. So I'm not allowed to bear your name, but I still have to bear all the responsibilities that come with it. What hypocrisy. Gloria runs out of the room, outraged and tearful. The family is left dumbfounded. Finally, Stefan speaks. I hope, Lydia, that you could still make us see reasons. Your words were wise. Let us heed them ourselves. Celebration continues despite Gloria's absence. Well, I'm clever at manipulation now, but, was not quite the result I expected. The Emperor's heirs in danger. Year 1142. News from the capital quickly reaches every corner of the Empire. Gerian and Flavius, the heirs to the throne, have left the Emperor's palace for the province of Monia, which is ruled by the Great Chancellery Aegirius Monrogue. The Great Chancellery has accused the Emperor's court of harboring malefactors conspiring against the imperial heirs. This is why he has offered them shelter and safety in his own impregnable citadel. The common people are particularly worried by the news. They take it as a sign that the Chancellor is seeking to solidify his power by holding the heirs hostage. If this continues, Monroe could coerce the Emperor into revoking the imperial law, thus depriving the common estate of any and all rights. All hope for reform in the Empire has vanished. From farmer to rich industrialist, the commoners are growing desperate. In your province, the authorities are trying their best to put the people at ease. The magistrate of Anizote makes a speech from his balcony to the excited crowd below. Trust in your Emperor, good people. The imperial heirs are in the future of the Great Tempest dynasty. The Emperor has made the wise decision to send them far away from the scheming court. Great Chancellor Monroe will take good care of them and keep them safe. All glory to the Empire, all glory to the Tempest. Less wealth and less power. Yeah, not looking too good. An invitation to dinner. Commoners are still flocking to Anizote. Refugees from villages that have been squeezed dry. Miners who have lost their jobs. Craftsmen who have lost their last coin. They all come to the city in search for shelter, safety, and justice. Makeshift shacks litter the outskirts of the city, steadily growing into shanty towns. Every day the people of Anizote see more men and women hanging around the streets looking for work, leaving their children in the care of the most infirm and elderly of the refugees. Of all the powerful people in the city, Mayor Egmont is the only one who considers this a problem. He has ordered several of his warehouses to be converted into shelters and begun distributing bread to the refugees free of charge. You and Sophia are sitting on the roof of an apartment building, watching people huddle around a wagon. The bread line stretched the small square between the buildings yesterday, but today it disappears down the back streets with no end in sight. Look at those poor bastards. They've been betrayed by their own masters. The nobles robbed them blind, razed their villages, and left them to die. Back-breaking labor, endless suffering, dying in the gutter. It's all they've ever been given. Would any of them blasted nobles even move a finger to help the refugees? Not on your life. Mayor Egmont's the only one who cares. He's their only chance for survival. Say, Brante, I hear Augustine Elborn and Mayor Egmont have both been invited to your house for dinner. That true? How does Sophia know about this? Father asked you to keep it a secret. What difference does it make? You should have told me. Do you have any idea what this dinner means? It's a sit-down, Brante. They could be deciding the fate of our city, the fate of Velastral, the fate of our rebellion. You've got to invite me. You've got to get me invited to that dinner. Tell him I'm your friend, your fiancé, your lover. I don't care. Just find some excuse for me to be there, okay? Give in to her demands. Sophia merciless. Invite Sophia to dinner. Sophia trusting. Agree with Sophia. Embittered. After some consideration, you invite Sophia to the dinner and introduce her to your family. Okay, we'll agree with Sophia. Of course, Sophia can come to dinner tonight, but she's going to need a proper outfit. No worries, Brante. I could behave in a noble society. Time for the dinner party arrives. The Brante house prepares for guests. You cannot remember the last time your entire family got together like this. Father is unusually focused and serious today. Mother is wearing father's wedding gift, a precious brooch adorned with gems. To her, it is a small act of defiance. Commoners may not indulge in luxury, but today is a special day indeed, and she has found the courage to dare this small transgression. Stefan is more carefree and high-spirited than usual. He always enjoys his uncle's visits. Nathan is as quiet, furtive, and inconspicuous as ever. Gloria, however, only smiles to herself. Sophia is sitting at the table to your left. The family casts curious glances at her from time to time. It feels so strange to see her at home, together with your family. Mother is the first to acknowledge her presence.
Sophia, Volker told us he was inviting someone important to him, but he never mentioned that this someone was a charming young lady. Pray tell, how did you and my son meet?
Oh, why, I actually used to live around here when I was little. You probably don't remember me, but then fate brought your son and me together years later, and now we see each other all the time. Sophia's hand gently comes to rest on yours. The touch of her skin sends a warm ripple through your entire body. Your family notices this little gesture. Mother exchanges a knowing glance with father.
Is that so? To be honest, I'm surprised Volker has been hiding such a charming young lady from us all this time. But I'm glad he's finally had the courage to introduce us. I'm sorry I won't be able to chat with you as much as I'd like to during dinner tonight, but you're welcome to come back anytime.
Sophia turns to you with a beautiful, alluring smile. She leans in closer to whisper in your ear. Sorry for the charade, Brante. I figured it'd make things easier. You feel an odd sense of excitement swelling in your chest and spreading its warmth to the rest of your body. You cannot help but smile at Sophia's little pretense. You hold hands with Sophia openly. Oh, if only this dinner could be just a dinner. If only the woman next to you could just be your beloved. Here to meet your family for the first time. If only this pretense could be a reality. How simple, pure, and happy that imaginary life would have been. The servants soon announce the guests. Baron Augustine Elborn and Mayor Egmont greet the master and mistress of the house one after another, then take their seats at the dinner table. After the traditional exchange of pleasantries, you enjoy an exquisite dinner followed by wine. There would ordinarily be dessert for father and Stefan, but today the noblemen make do with wine. Elborn and Egmont finally begin to discuss the droves of commoners seeking refuge in the city.
I must confess, Egmont, I don't understand your motivation here. Are you moved by an honest desire to help people, or the expectation of some inscrutable profit? Regardless, you have to put an end to this before it's too late. The food and shelter you offer them only serves to attract more and more refugees to Anizote. And when they finally fill the streets, what are you going to do then? What am I going to do then? The Archduke, the Overseer, what are they going to do? Have you even considered this? Please understand me, I harbor no ill will towards these people, but Gaius Tempus is concerned that they will eventually start causing trouble. Archduke Milanides is looking for any excuse to march his punitive battalions into the city, Mayor. Is that really what you want? With all due respect, Sir Prefect, I cannot do what you ask. These people have nowhere else to go. No one else will help them. Here in Anizote, at least I can offer them food and shelter. Are you really asking me to let them starve to death? Do not deceive yourself, Augustine. I was one of those who welcomed the new overseer at first, just like all the rest. I hoped that the communist state would get a little more breathing room under his rule. But what did Gaius Tempus do? He started this power struggle with the Archduke, and made the devil tax possible. He signed a ban on gunpowder in Magra of all places, a province that lives off of the silver ore we mine. Which is why, Sir Elborn, I do not trust the Arknians or the nobility anymore. No, sir. I will not rely on their generosity. The only way I can accomplish anything in this world is by myself, by the sweat of my brow, by sticking my neck out for others. Augustine, you are the only noble in the imperial government I can still trust. You are known throughout the city as the protector of the lowly estate, so protect the lowly estate. Offer protection to the refugees. Convince the overseer to let them stay here. Let me save their lives. I'm very sorry, Egmont, but that is impossible. Gaius Tempus has made it very clear that I cannot resolve this situation. If I cannot resolve this situation, he will bring the Legion into the city and deal with it himself. It pains me to say this, but those people would be better off leaving the city, or maybe even Magra. You must realize this. They should go to Illyria or some other place and start new lives. The only thing waiting for them here in Anizote is death. There's nothing I can do to help them.
Glance at Sophia warily. Her brows are furrowed and her hands are balled into fists. She interrupts Elborn without warning. Enough! Oh dear. Everyone turns to her in surprise. Did a low-born woman just have the audacity to raise her voice while important men were talking? That's enough. You are Baron Augustine Elborn, the prefect of Magra, the protector of the common folk, the last hope for people like me. You're all we've got. Mayor Egmont is right. The Arcneans don't care about us at all. As far as the Milanidases and the Tempest are concerned, we don't even exist. Every commoner in the city knows there's only one noble in Anizote who actually cares, and that's you, Sir Elborn. Not the Overseer, not the Archduke, not the Magistrate, not the Patriarch, none of them. You're the only man who can change things in this city. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? The Overseer needs your support. He trusts you. He'll listen to you. You don't have to blindly follow his every order. You're free to make up your own mind and speak to him on behalf of the people. I'm begging you. Please don't betray us. Don't betray all the trust we placed in you. Help Mayor save these people. The amber candle lights, glimmers, and sparkles reflected in Sophia's eyes. My apologies, ma'am. We have not been introduced. Sophia, a commoner. A lengthy silence hangs over the room. No one knows what to do. Everyone holds their breath, waiting for Augustine Elborn to react. Thank you, Sophia. Your words. You want to thank this young lady, Mayor. You will have my support. The refugees may stay. Do your best to give them decent shelter and food, and see if there is any work they can do. I'll see if I can convince the Archduke that they pose no threat, and I'll take steps to keep the streets safe. The guests thank their hosts for their hospitality, then leave one after another. You walk Sophia to a carriage. Thanks for dinner, Volker. It was fun acting like everything's normal for once. You played your part like a pro. The next day, Augustine Elborn makes a statement to the people of Anizote. The prefecture and the Lesser Quorum have reached an agreement. The refugees arriving in the city will be offered temporary shelter and provisions. No announcements from the Overseer are forthcoming. Okay, so now we're indifferent with each other, but okay. +1 power, wealth of Magra -1, misery and devastation. More unrest, though. +5 willpower. Aw, no manipulation. I mean, I had to lie to get her in. Stefan's Gambit. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. 1 indifference with Stefan Brante. Stefan's Gambit. You've hardly found any time for family matters this year. The events taking place in the city keep you busy at all hours. Tonight you come home extremely late, but the fireplace in the sitting room is lit. By the fire you see Stefan with a glass of wine. Your older brother has been waiting for you. You take a seat in the chair by Stefan's side. Your brother keeps turning his glass with his long fingers. Volker, we need to have a talk about Gloria. She flatly refuses to behave as she ought to. Her antics are ruining our family's reputation. If this situation persists, nobility of the sword will be out of the question. Brother, I do not wish her ill, but we have no right to sit idly by. Regrettably, Gloria will never truly be a part of the Brante family. Her origins are too tarnished. So it is our duty to find her a new family. It is high time Gloria got married. But we can't just give our sister to a commoner, can we? And how could any noble wed her, knowing her origins? It's been a stumbling block for a long time, but I finally found a suitable match for her. His name is Jose El Pelletier. You mean the guy she was specifically trying to avoid? He is a young nobleman of the sword. Recently graduated from the college, and now he has a position at the city hall. Do you recall a reception several years ago where he couldn't take his eyes off Gloria? Pelletier has been obsessed with her ever since. Not even her lowly origins can deter him. Admittedly, Gloria does not reciprocate his affection just yet. Meaning she's not interested. How is this a good match? So let us convince Gloria that becoming Sir El Pelletier's bride is her chance to escape her current situation. And then let us pray she comes to her senses and puts her rebellious ways behind her.
Isn't this an ideal solution? After marrying El Pelletier, Gloria will be a noblewoman herself. We'll be granting her the freedom she's craved since she was a girl, and then she can write poetry and do whatever else takes her fancy. I will enter negotiations with the El Pelletier family. Rumor has it Jose's father already has a future wife in mind for him, the daughter of an important chancellery official, but Jose's passion must win out in the end, don't you agree? As for you, Volker, please help me with Gloria. You're closest with her. You can make her see how beneficial this match will be. She must fulfill her duty to the family that took her in, after all. Stefan looks at you expectantly. You are at a crossroads. Will you accept your brother's plan or refuse him? Will this marriage be a blessing? And for whom? I mean, it's a shame I can't just ask her opinion, but... I mean, I will admit, Stefan's opinion is convincing, but... at the same time, I'd rather it be for what Gloria wants. But at the same time... I really don't want to do this, but... You remain silent for some time, weighing your decision. The plan your brother has proposed sounds reasonable. In a new family and with a noble title, Gloria will be able to put all the resentment about her fate behind her and be free of the limitations of a lowly estate. You let Stefan know that you are on his side. A broad smile lights up on his face as he reclines in his chair. I knew you'd be sensible. Together we can certainly make it happen. But remember how stubborn Gloria is. An easy victory is not to be expected. The next morning, you invite Gloria to join you in the library for a private conversation. You inquire carefully about your sister's thoughts on marriage. If a nobleman of the sword were to wed her, she would join the noble estate and all the arts would be open to her. Gloria laughs in response. Become a noblewoman? In all of Anizote, you'd never find a single nobleman of the sword who would ever marry a low-born girl like me. I don't even have a father. You mentioned Jose El Pelletier. The spirited young gentleman would be willing to join Gloria in wedlock. Marry El Pelletier? Volker, you don't understand. Sure, he's easy on the eyes. He's a skilled warrior and a respected nobleman. But he's been after me for a year now, and I've managed to figure out what he's after. He needs a wife to give birth to his heirs, follow him around obediently at social gatherings, and praise his chivalry. Can you see me in that role? Gloria falls silent for a moment, gathering her thoughts. Besides, I don't even want to be a noblewoman, okay? I can't just live peacefully within the noble estate, knowing that other commoners are still suffering. I can't just pretend their misery has nothing to do with me. You try to give her a taste of the benefits that a noble name brings, but your sister doesn't even want to hear you. This is all Stefan's idea, isn't it? You never throw me out of a house on your own, so hear this. It's not going to happen. Later, you inform Stefan of your sister's refusal. His face turns to stone. The ingrate! I've almost come to an agreement with old Pelletier. With old El Pelletier. All the pains I've taken to arrange her future, and this is how she repays us. Well, we'll proceed without consulting her. Rather, we need to devise a way to put pressure on Gloria, even if it takes us a long time. I don't like this. Getting even. Felipe left Anizote. Oh wait, hold on. Just to check. How long has this been going? Okay. Okay.
Felipe left Anizote for the capital last night on urgent business. He gave you both direct, unambiguous orders before he left. Cease all activities and wait for him to return. A month of freedom. An entire month of peace. Is this real? Can you finally stop and catch your breath? But unfortunately, you do not even get to enjoy the thought of freedom for long. As noon approaches, Sophia appears indoors, out of your office. She has risked a visit in the middle of the day. This must be urgent. What brings her here? Doris Houghton. Ring a bell? You know, the High Commander of Magra, an Archnean, my former master, rapist, murderer, all-around piece of shit. I've been keeping tabs on him ever since I got back to Anizote. Here's where it gets interesting, Brante. Turns out Felipe Alfero isn't the only guy trying to take advantage of the chaos to make a grab for power. There's a noble revolt brewing way up in the upper echelons. Milanidas' followers are itching to rebel against Overseer Tempest, and Doris Houghton is one of the heavies. You see where I'm going with this? All Gaius Tempest's authorities come from the Imperial Legion swords, and the guy in charge of them all, the High Commander of the province, that's Houghton. And he can't wait to betray the Overseer and hand all that power over to the Arctic. If this revolt goes through, everything we've worked for will go up in smoke. We can't let this happen. We need to expose Houghton as the traitor he is and give Gaius Tempest all the proof. What about Felipe? What does he have to say about this? We don't even know where Felipe is right now. He's incommunicado. We'll have to go against his orders and act on our own. We've got no time to waste either. They could spring into action at the drop of a hat. Sophia's voice is trembling. You are not used to hearing her like this. You ask her why she is so eager to take Houghton down. Is she up for revenge? I'm more worried about the last straw's future than revenge. But I'm gonna level with you. If I had it my way, I'd love nothing more than to strangle Houghton with my bare hands. Sicking the Overseer on him is the next best thing. As usual, Sophia sounds level-headed and makes a solid point. But you cannot help but feel she is still hiding something. Should you defy Felipe's orders and aid her? Is it a good idea to get involved in the struggle between the province's two most powerful Archneans? Oh, come on! Until Felipe returns, there's no way you are getting involved in anything this serious. It all had to be scheming, didn't it? You shake your head. No, you will not help Sophia with this. You dope, you think Felipe's gonna save you if you're a good boy? But hey, it's your funeral. I'm disappointed. With that, Sophia leaves. A few days later, you hear that a gang of street thugs tried to break into On's mansion but failed and were killed on the spot. Was this Sophia's attempt to follow through on her plan without you? Either way, you cannot be blamed for this. Only a fool would ever defy an Archnean as powerful as Houghton. Anyway, she is alive. You drive away the worrisome thoughts. Freedom awaits you. An entire month of freedom. You should enjoy it to the fullest before Felipe Alfero returns to Anizote. I hate this. Mark of dishonor. Oh. Conditions met. Reputation 0. Recent events have dealt a crushing blow to the reputation of the Brante family. You have slipped into the realm of infamy and disgrace. So far, the nobles' families of the city have patiently endured your transgressions, but now you have lost face in their eyes. Noble society is eager to bring your every dusty scandal back into the light. Old offenses, ancient grievances, and naturally father's marriage to Lydia Brante and Gloria's ignoble origins. And they have surely not forgotten that the sons of Robert and Lydia Brante, Volker and Nathan, were born out of wedlock. None of the nobles will ever say this to your face, of course. Their behavior will seem perfectly ordinary, on the surface. But no matter where you go now, you will be followed by scornful glances and dismissive whispers. We have to accept this and humbly bear this burden. All hope of being a noble by the sword is lost. No matter what we do to restore our name, we will never wash away this mark of dishonor. tainted by dishonor has happened. The Brante name is dragged through the dirt, never to recover. Well, that's not a happy note to end this video, but we are gonna end this video here, so, yikes. Anyway, so hope you all enjoyed this video. Give that like button a stab if you did. Subscribe if you want more death in your life. Be sure the bell is tolling for thee. And until next time, rest in peace. Bye! Enjoyed today's video? Well, there's plenty more for you to enjoy here. And if you also want to support this small channel, then there is also my Ko-fi, which is available, as well as a Twitter thread that gives you my commissioning info. And if you'd like some traditional art or literature, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Thank you for enjoying the video and for your viewership.